At very first, what I did was I was already training with Sal, doing a lot of different things, and at first, the first thing I did was I did a submission event. I did one of the first submission events down here, and it went pretty well. And that's kind of the route I was taking until at the time, you know, they didn't allow, it wasn't the rules that they have now in MMA. They didn't allow a cage, you know, they didn't allow closed fists. You had to fight in a ring. It was a slow process, you know, it was a slow process. And some of the very first fights, I mean, back in 1999 were some of the first shows. And some of my guys went to go fight out in Wichita where, you know, also in Hook and Shoot, when Hook and Shoot was first around, Jose Luis Munoz and Bella de los Santos went out there and fought. So, you know, it's been a long time. But the first thing we started with was submission, and then from there it started evolving. And I did, the very first show I did down here was a pancration show. They, you know, they allowed everything except closed fists and a ring. It was in 2002. It was the first event that came on down here. So that went pretty well. It wasn't as much as, you know, some of the other things that the way it is now, but it did well. The history of it was in Texas in 1994 they banned, period. It was banned completely. You couldn't do any kind of fighting at all. And early on, and you know, around 91, 92, we're doing some fights, you know, here and there, and I was fighting too. And you know, it came to an abrupt halt in Texas. They stopped it. That's it. No more. It's done. Because you know, if everyone knows, UFC got a bad rap. You know, they got a bad rap with a lot of people calling human cockfighting and all this stuff, right? So it was a bad situation all around. Once it started getting into the mainstream, where okay, well now we can help it along a little bit. People still weren't hip to it, right? You know, they didn't know what it was. So every sponsor I went to tried to explain to them what it was. And as soon as you mentioned ultimate fighting, it was like, oh, no, I don't want nothing to do with it, you know. So it was real tough. One of the first sponsors I finally convinced was Budweiser. They bought into my first show. They helped me out, you know, with what they could. They weren't too, you know, they were still walking on eggshells about it, but they helped me out. And you know, then I got a couple of other smaller sponsors and did what I could, you know. And we got it done. We got it done. But it was getting sponsors was a tough act. I took a step away from this just for the first time was last year. You know, last year I had a rough year. My mom got real sick. She was my biggest fan, you know, so she got sick, she passed away, and it was hard on me. So I just stepped back. I lost a lot of good fighters. I had a great team. Everybody knows Team Pound. You know, everybody knows what we're about. Every time we step into the cage, we go and, you know, we tear up. So I had stepped away for about a year, almost a year. But this year, it's back on, man. You know, I got my crew back. I got a lot of young talent, and we're stepping back up to where we need to be. Team Pound, man, actually evolved as a kickboxing team because, you know, once MMA got banned, it wasn't around, there was nothing going on. The only thing we could do is kickbox. So my fighters were kickboxers, and actually my son was a real good kickboxer. He's the one that Team Pound, he used to always say it's time to pound when he was about to get into the ring. You know, he always said it's time to pound. You know, he's 10-year-old, and I go, yeah, that sounds pretty cool, man. Team Pound. And then back then, also in the early days as well, there used to already be Chris Benavidez. That you know, he had Benavidez, that name. So I wanted to use Benavidez Mixed Martial Arts as my name because of my son. But I needed something to distinguish us that we're not part of that group. And so Team Pound in '96 was actually a kickboxing team, and we were called Team Pound Full Contact Fighting, NHB Fighting, you know. And that's where it started rolling. So Team Pound from there, the first guys I got on my crew was Jose Luis Munoz. That they were originally out of Chris. They used to train with Chris when Chris left. I kind of took them over. I took over Jose Luis Munoz, Bella de los Santos, and then I started getting other guys like Xavier Mejia, and the first generation of Team Pound started rolling. And we fought for the first time in 1999. It was the very first time those guys fought as a team. At first, we didn't do well. There were still a lot of things that needed to work on and learn. But once we put it together, man, then we started getting really good at what we did. Right now, I'm in the 4th generation of the team, man. Actually, I've got a bunch of young guys. Right now, the only pro I have left, well, I have 2 pros left, which is John Springer and Aniel Cortez. Aniel Cortez, of course, holds 135 pounds for the South Texas Fighting Championship. And both of them are coming back. I've got something big planned for Aniel here pretty soon. And I have a lot of rookies. I have a lot of amateur guys. Two notables are Isidro Vega and Raymond Moreno. They're two up-and-coming guys. They're real good. They're fighting for Texas Rage in the cage right now, and they're kicking ass. You know, they're doing really well. You know, I've helped both organizations kind of off the ground a little bit, and them being the only amateur organization it's kind of cool. But you know, they do need some more amateur organizations down here. And right now, we're going to be working with another organization that's coming down here. They're going to use me to help them with matchmaking and all that. They're called South Texas Combat. So they're coming down here. And then as well, we're going to start doing promotions under team punishment. They're going to call it punishment fights. And that's what's in work. That's what I'm working on right now. So that's going to be both amateur and pro. So that's one of the things that me and South Release is helping me put together. Anybody that puts on an event to promote fighters in the Valley, I think is a good thing. I know Rincon Garza tried to contact me, and that was during the time when I was going through these issues with my mom and stuff. So I kind of said, you know what, I don't want no part of it. And so Greg Alvarez, which is the boxing commission guy, called me not too long ago and said he was trying to contact me again. So I'm going to give him a call. But I mean, if we can do events in Upper Valley, Upper events in Lower Valley, it's cool, you know. And to a point, promotions are about money, you know. So that's one of the things I'm going to jump on. I'm going to start doing my own stuff because I've helped too many people along, man, and then they throw me the curve, and it's like, man, you know. Well, you know, man, I hear a lot of things. I don't like to talk bad about people. They know who they are. They know what they do, you know, and it's not just one or two. It's several organizations. When they need the help, they come to you, you know, and they're on you, and they're like, hey, man, thank you know, this and that. But as soon as they see money roll in, it's like anybody else, man. Greed's a killer, man. They keep you to the side, and you know, I'm not gonna say nothing bad about nobody, you know, but they know what they do and they know what it's about. You know, when there's someone out there that has no clue about what an MMA event is, you know, and then you help them along, and then they're going around saying that, you know, that they're the ones that brought MMA to the Valley. It's a tough thing to swallow, but you know, I ain't gonna say nothing bad about no one, man. You know, I'm just glad that there is organizations down here. There is a couple organizations my guys will not fight for, and you know, that's the way it is, man. I worked gi for a lot of years, man. People don't even know that, you know, because they think that I just came out of, you know, from a hot keto place or whatever. They have no clue about my background. You know, I did gi work for a long time, and gi helps you. I mean, it helps you for conditioning. It's great, but you get used to a gi. You get used to holding on to stuff, and if you're gonna do MMA, the gi does not help you in your training, you know, because you get used to holding on. Working gi, you have to work methodical. You have to, you know, and you can't do that in MMA. You have to be explosive. You have to move. So for me in MMA, you know, of course, there's no gi. And a lot of the things people say that, you know, Jiu-Jitsu is one of the foundations. Actually, man, wrestling is the foundation for MMA, dude, because the control and the position is what's the most important. You know, how many submissions do you see in MMA, man? It's all about control, position, ground and pound. A foundation is a foundation, whether it be a foundation in karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. A foundation is a foundation that you're going to build your MMA career off of. But, you know, I tell little kids, look, man, it's probably good if you get a foundation in something and then take it from there, because MMA, you're going to evolve into the aspect of every art, you know. I'm gonna tell them to come see me, man, if they really want to work hard. And like everybody, that's one thing we do, man. We work hard, and I push these guys, and they throw up a lot. But you know, when you get into that cage, you're talking about there's a guy on the other side that wants to whoop you, man. So you got to be prepared for it. And most of my guys do really, really well, man. You know, we've got a great track record. Everywhere we go, everybody knows us. Everybody has a lot of respect for us. Yeah, you got a lot of haters too. That's okay. Go to my website, benavidezmma.com. You know, call me, man, 956-492-1525, and come see me, man, because MMA is going to continue to blow up, and I'm going to continue to push it. And now this is what I do full time, so it's going to get even better for us.